Hello everyone, welcome back to my Dungeon Universalis video series where I want to teach you or guide you to play Dungeon Universalis, and I want to welcome all new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing the channel, and here's a very warm welcome for you. And today we have a look at a part of the combat system. And I wanted to make a dedicated video for it because it's a kind of hard or not easy topic, and the combat video itself, the combat basic video, will be long enough, I guess. So this is a shorter one dedicated to line of sight and front and back of a character. So when you have watched the previous videos in my series, the first one with the basics, I've already shown you the different heights of characters, and this is a very important thing of Dungeon Universalis because each character has a size. There are 4 different sizes for characters. There are 6 different sizes for elements in general, so you can have the size of 0 for the ground, and the size of 5 for the sky. And in between there are a size of 1 for things like tables and chairs and chests, a size of 2 for wardrobes and libraries, doors, shelves, and so on. 3 may be large statues, and trees and walls may have a height of 4. And characters also share these systems, so you have you won't have a creature as high as the sky, so there's no height 5, and you won't have a creature with height of 0, so which is the ground. So you have started at size of or height of 1, which is a small creature like a goblin. 2, this is an average character like maybe a human or an elf, a dwarf, or other humanoids. And after that there is following the number 3 in height, which may be an ogre or a troll. And then there's still one left, it's number 4, and these are the huge creatures, maybe giants or really large demons or something. I haven't met one except a giant until now. And these are the 4 heights we have. So where I'm telling you that there are heights for elements like furniture, because they are interacting with each other. Not interacting, interlocking, I don't know what's the right term. We'll have a look at that now. So once again, to show you the differences in height, once again, this is a small goblin, Larnak, and he is small, size of 1. There behind is a guy with a sword, with an average guy with a height of 2. After that there's the ogre or troll, maybe I guess it's an ogre, and a large creature. And after that there's the big boss. Oh, you can't see him where we are. So there are the 4 types of height. When these miniatures are done, they are taken from Descent 2 and Dungeons & Dragons adventure system board games. So, but you have the same sizes with the standees. We have an average one, we have a giant, we have an ogre, and we have a small goblin. Alright. So when we're talking about line of sight, we just I would just want to show you, tell you again about front and back of a character, because it's required to know that there's a difference when we're talking about line of sight. I just take let's take this guy. No, let's take her once again. A secret love. Don't tell my wife, please. This is a character coming with done a standee. we have a picture on the front side, we have one on the back side. It's the same picture, but here's a number, and so the common use is to have the back side. I stand her here, and let's say these danger markers coming with done, I want to use to mark her front, and these fortune points coming with done, I'm using to mark her back. So every character has a front and a back, and a melee range, and it's around. It's on the 9 squares around each character. So I'm going to mark this. So this is her front, but also this is her front. Indeed, it's her side, but it's counting to front as well. And then we have her back. I will use this. So, back, front. The direction the standee is looking at is important because she cannot attack or target an enemy in her back. So she has to turn around to do this, and we would flip this now over, but I will leave it out for the moment. So if she's changing her view to the right, then we have to rearrange these markers. So now this is her back, all of this is her front. I guess you already get the trick. If I change this, I have to flip this in 180 degrees. And another important point is we have this also for diagonal. I didn't learn the word, sorry. As well. So if she's looking this direction, her front is now also still 3 squares. Oops. We still have the 2 on her side, and we still have 3 in her front and 3 in her back. This works for all 4 diagonal directions. And yes, so this is important because if someone is standing right behind her, he can attack her in her back. Maybe he will get a benefit of it, a bonus for his combat value, but we have a look at this later. And for now, it's important that you can't have a line of sight. The general rule, I'm going over to a line of sight now. The general rule for line of sight is you pick the square where your character is standing, the center of it, and draw a line, a virtual line, to the target you want to target, to the enemy you want to target, to his center of square, and you can see there's a line of sight. If there's no clear line of sight, this is important, a clear line of sight, if there's no obstacle between this, and you can draw a line. But in this case, she's standing, she's looking down here, over here. You can see the numbers in the back. She doesn't have a line of sight to him. She cannot target him with spells or with range attack because he's standing in her back. If she wants to do this, she has to turn around, and then the markers would have to flip. I leave this out, and then she would have line of sight, but not if she's looking to the other side. If this guy is standing here, she will have line of sight because this is the side, and so there's no obstacle in between. So everything will be fine, even also here and here, for of course in a real front. All right. So once again, draw a virtual line from the center to center of the square. In Descent, you're going to do this from any point of a square to any point, but in Dungeon Universalis, you will make it from the center to the center, and if there's no obstacle in between, you would have a clear line of sight. Alright, well, if there's a clear line of sight, there must be something like an unclear line of sight, a not clear line of sight. And yes, indeed there is. Maybe there are obstacles in the way, so I will remove those markers now, because I'm pretty sure you're very smart and got the front and back. So, these characters have the same height. I will use my two little helpers, Whitey Whiteman and Red Herring. Both characters have the same height because it's the same miniature. Both have a height of 2, and there could be an obstacle in between them, blocking the line of sight in a kind of way. Maybe not in a full, but in some kind of way. It could be a table. We have tables here in Dungeon Universalis. This is a magician's table, sorcery table or something. For better impression, I will use this one. If you are looking into your Dungeon Universalis game box, you will not find this one. This is from Dungeon Saga. But I think it's for better visualization. So, there is now an item and an element of furniture in between them with a lower height than they are. They have a line of height of 2. This table has a height of 1. So they still see each other, but there's no clear line of sight. There are penalties having not a clear line of sight or something that we have a look at it later. For now, it's just important to know that there isn't anymore a clear line of sight in between them. So we have other furnitures. Maybe we can have shelves in Dungeon Universalis, and I also borrowed some stuff from Dungeon Saga. Here's a bookshelf. And if I place this in between them and turn this, I will lower the camera to make it more impressive. As impressive as this could be. So, you can see there's no line of sight anymore. Because this has the same height, and this counts as there's no line of sight between them. Because this obstacle has fallen down and it's standing in between them. So even if those characters have the same height as this one, it's blocking the line of sight, and that's it. They can't target anymore each other. But it's getting more complex a little bit. We have 4 heights for characters, as I've told you at the beginning of the video. So if we let Whitey Whiteman free from the board, and through the invisible door, here comes a new player to the game. This is a large ogre, and the large ogre, it's not that large, but believe me, this guy is large and has a height of 3. He can look over that shelf, and so he can see this guy over that library, because he's larger than this. And of course, yes, this the huge guy, and that's the same. I can look over it. So if they are, I've showed you there are furnitures like large statues, and they have a height of 3, and it's adapting perfectly. So if this would be a statue of height 3, then this guy would be covered by it, and you won't have a line of sight because they have the same height. And still the bad big boss here would be visible because he's 1 height larger. Alright. This is also, and this is in most cases, this is obviously because large creatures are something special in Dungeon Universalis. Yes, you may have a character in your heroes party that is large. There are already some pre-designed, like an ogre and a troll, and you can do some on your own. It's absolutely no problem. I'm not sure if you can play a huge one. I think so, but please check it on your own. So large isn't that rare, but it's still works for these little guys too. He is small, and he is standing behind this table. And sorry, I will use these guys because to make clear that these have the same height. Both are goblins coming with the standees. Both have the same height of 1. They are small. So if they are standing next to this, or if there's standing a table between them, they won't have a line of sight. It's not impressive in this way because the table is smaller, the figure is smaller, but in the game they would have the same height, so these guys can't see each other. Otherwise, Red Herring is back. He could see him because he's larger than the table. So I'm telling you this because it's the same as the same example, like having with the average one and the ogre and the shelf we have before, but it's more in my experience, it's more often to have small characters, and you're maybe not thinking about this, that this may affect, that there may be tables, and yeah, there are tables, it's not that thing. You can even attack with a long-ranged weapon over tables, and that's not a deal. But you have to remember that small characters may be affected by even by tables in their line of sight, not only by obvious things like bookshelves and walls, doors, and something. That's what I wanted to tell. All right. Those elements can provide cover, and I'm putting it here. I hope you can see. I'm using the white guy and the red queen, or whatever. Sorry. So we have a line of sight here, but it's through the edge of this obstacle square here. Yeah, I've placed it here to make it even better to see. I hope you can see. Yes, from center to center there is a line of sight, but it's striking through the corner of an obstacle square. So if this guy wants to attack him, he has line of sight, but he has a clear line of sight. This guy is having cover from this element. Because this element has the same size or higher than him, they have the same size, he will get heavy cover from this. So the attacker will have a higher penalty, and if it would be a table blocking, it only would provide light cover to that guy. And this is one important thing. I'm not really sure about it because I don't understand the background of it, but I just cite the rule book in this now. You only get cover, you only can get or count the cover for the target if the target is standing adjacent to the table. So if you would stand here, there's line of sight from center to center. It's still crossing the edge of this table, but it wouldn't be cover for this guy because he's not standing here, he's standing here. This just don't get me wrong, this it's probably just a problem for me to understand. Don't want to tell it's nonsense or something. I can't imagine this will make a difference in practice, but maybe this is just my understanding. So just play it as written in the rule book. So the same thing as here. If you're standing here, or here, no, not here, here, and we are crossing the edge, it's not heavy cover. If you're standing here, the same angle, you would have he would provide from work because he's standing adjacent to the obstacle otherwise then here. That's it. And I guess that's all I have to say. We have flying characters in Dungeon Universalis, and if they are flying, you will always have line of sight because they are always flying above all of the heroes. So you will always have a line of sight to them, with one exception. And here we are again in Dungeon Universalis. There's always this one exception in Dungeon Universalis. If there's an impassable obstacle. Impassable obstacles may be trees or large rocks or something. Then they will provide. Then they will not give line of sight to these characters. But in any other cases, flying characters can be seen by any characters of any height. So I think we are done. If I haven't missed one important thing, if I will find some, or if you will find some, please write it down in the comments. Once again, my disclaimer, these videos, as always, aren't meant as a replacement for the rulebook. You can watch them as an addition to get a better understanding, but please read the rulebook carefully, because I'm pretty sure that I will miss a rule or miss a penalty or a bonus or something, and please read the rulebook carefully on your own, and but please also watch these videos again to get a better understanding of the game. I'm happy there's so many positive feedback to the videos, and I will go on and will record other ones about the combat, about melee, about ranged attacks and magic attacks and the damage. And I will also have plans to play an epic event, and maybe I'll also do a real dungeon crawl with a self-made quest, I guess, to not spoil anyone. And yeah, I hope to see you again, and I say bye.